Today we finally get to look at Wolverine and Deadpool from Marvel Legends, and of course we'll compare them to the Deadpool and Wolverine from ZD Toys. How did I do that? So taking a quick look at these two things, I'm actually pretty satisfied. I'm thinking these are a lot of new parts. Well, obviously he's fully new. I think he's got quite a few new parts. So we'll look at the other Marvel Legends Deadpool as well. Back of the box, you got some figure things, whatever. This isn't what I'm here for. Plus they make the other Wolverine in his like civilian clothes, and I just don't care about that one. Anyway, boxes look like the boxes on the internet. So the best way we can change the way this looks on the internet is by opening them and doing a review like other things on the internet. Crap. For me, I pre-ordered these things through Amazon. I will leave a link down in the description, and it is an affiliate link, so I'll get like, I don't know, 35 cents if you buy one. It's not gonna be a lot. And the sleeves inside this one are pretty fun. Here's some instructions on how to not choke with toy parts. Stupid man. Whoever got to do the artwork for this will never know. But I like this. This is cool. But we're not here for that. We're here for these things, to find out if they're really the definitive version for now. And of course, that means until the SH Figure Arts version comes out. And then that means it also depends on when the Mezco versions come out. Whatever. There's gonna be so many versions of this. Even Diamond Selects is in this game. Diamond Select? Was there an S at the end? Or am I doing that old person thing where you put an S on everything at Walmart's? Well, right off the bat, this is a much worse value for a Deadpool, because this is what we got just a few months ago, which was a re-release. Look at how many accessories you get. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of hands versus 2 sets of hands. You still get the baby knife, you get his katanas, and then over here you also got this unicorn plushie. So let's start over here with this guy and on his lack of accessories. So you have this hand in the box. Trigger fingers, which are pretty important to have for a Deadpool, because, you know, he's got guns. Unless you buy the SH Figure Arts first. Boy, oh boy. And on by default, he's just got these gripping hands. So that's it. You don't have any, like, expressive hand options for this Deadpool, which is a real bummer, especially for a character that is very expressive. But let's just try to stay focused and look at this as like a standalone release. Obviously, if you have the other Deadpool, you could use those hands, the downside being that they're not painted. Looking at the little knife, it's, I think it's identical to what we had before. It's pretty basic, nothing really to talk about there. And then you have his 2 katanas, which biggest difference here is that we don't have the gold accents on here, which is really unfortunate, because that's what makes this suit and this design really stand out compared to the other ones. I love all the gold accents, and we're just not getting it here on the Marvel Legends katanas. So this is just basically probably a reuse. Let's look at the figure itself. So the details here in the suit texture are really nice, and the fact that they have added the gold paint is certainly a good touch. It seems familiar. I mean, it's Deadpool, so of course it's gonna feel similar to the other version, because it's a lot of the same stuff. It's generally the same look. So we only get the one expression, which is kind of a Marvel Legends thing. Like, you don't get a lot in the box when it comes to licensed brands with Hasbro. You really got to go with like G.I. Joe Classified if you want more for your money. But then of course you don't have this guy. Well, you know. Let's take a look at the pistols. I think these are pretty basic as well. So this is obviously, like, I guess you would say most of the movie, where he just has his regular black ones. They're not the gold-plated versions that he has towards the end of the movie, which is unfortunate. I think people would just be like, yeah, just give us those, because what do you do now? Paint them? Find some third-party creator that's making them, which there are a bunch of. But beyond that, I mean, this is like, it's a good-looking figure. I do like the sculpt that's going on here. Things seem like really smooth through the hips and the knees and stuff, which is interesting. I feel like generally the hips on Marvel Legends are kind of awkward, but this feels really nice. So happy to see that. But overall, this is a good looking figure. And for, I think, $25, yeah, I think he's worth it. Now let's talk about articulation. I'm sure it's just the same as what we've seen before, so nothing really extravagant to talk about. Extravagant? Who am I? Yeah, same stuff, decent crunch and everything. And design choices, ooh, you're gonna remove those pistols to do some kicks to the side. We got some double jointed knees and some basic ankle articulation. So kind of everything you would expect with Marvel Legends. Nothing over the top, but it gets you where you need to be. So let's try to compare I just compare. You don't even have to try anything. Let's get those accessories out of the way. Look at these two guys. So you can see there's clearly a lot of differences here. The battle damage that we saw on the previous one, it looks like there's like Well, maybe I didn't notice that before. Or maybe it's just texture lines to try to look like a suit. It's much smoother over here on the new one. Obviously, there's some reused parts. I think that head is the same, right? Same shoulders, same arms. Yeah, which, I guess it's just smart business decisions. And I didn't notice this before because previously we had these very obvious cuts, which is a very Marvel Legends thing. But here, they're hidden very, very well in these. I mean, this is like so conveniently placed, these leg straps. So thank goodness. Overall, I think it's better. I hated how shiny this thing was, and maybe partly because how dark it was, it comes off as more shiny. So let's get rid of that Deadpool and look at the other brand. Where is it? The ZD Toys, which I did review previously. I'll have a link to that somewhere. So this was another figure that has a great price point. It's in that kind of $25 to $30 price range. This one comes with a lot of accessories, comes with a base and some extra hands and eye pieces and stuff. It definitely has its flaws. I do recommend watching that video. The gold that's on here is because I added it myself to all of the hands and here and the swords. So that is all black by default, which now reminds me that the Marvel Legends needs to have gold right here on the inside of the thumb, outside of the thumb. That's the outside. So it's still missing a few spots, but they added a lot of gold that this didn't have. This is interesting. Now, is this more accurate than this? I think so. Certainly some different choices made that kind of make one a little bit more accurate versus the other, and kind of back and forth on that. Proportion-wise, I do think the ZD Toys has a better look, better sculpt on the head. I've never liked the way this looks at the backside of some Marvel Legends. So that's Deadpool. So let's get rid of all that crap and look at our main guy, Mr. Hugh Jackman, finally in this yellow suit. Even worse with the accessories. Like, this is a truly disappointing level of accessories. You get one punching hand with no claws. You get this, I don't know, is this a trigger hand? Look at how specifically that's cut out, as if to hold a squared off handle of a gun. This is so disappointing, man. Like, this Marvel Legends really is the line that's like, I'm just gonna put everything on the shelf and be done with it. But that's generally the case with other brands like SH Figuarts, Mafex, Mezco. You get a lot of accessories, a lot of alternate hands and heads and things, so you get to enjoy figures more expressively and have a lot of fun with photography or just poses in a review. So these poses for Wolverine are going to be very limited just based on the lack of accessories. Now, looking at him, his legs look a little short, don't they? Like, I know he's tall and he might be the same height as Deadpool over here, but they look stubby. I don't know what that is. Is it just too thick in this area? But it doesn't have that Hugh Jackman like length going on. So just to focus on this, you get a punching hand with no claws, whatever, and then you get this gripping hand. So, I mean, I already talked about it. Whatever, moving on. He's got punching hands on by default with the claws exposed. Then that's it. And then you get his likeness, which, that's pretty good. Could the paint on the beard be better? I think so. It's a really nice head sculpt. I'm not sure about the beard color. Like, I definitely think that should be darker, but we're just trying to be picky here for the sake of being picky, I think. But this is a good head sculpt, and Marvel Legends team definitely getting closer and closer all the time with matching the likeness of the actors. Looking at this version though, man, that beard hair looks really bad. Why? So this is it here, and obviously the beard comes all the way to the edge. It doesn't have the paint on it like it does here. It just looks really weak. Even the lips look very, very weak, which is unfortunate. And I would love to have alternate heads in here, like with gritting teeth or something. You just don't get it. In one of my other videos, I did talk about the fact that like nobody's making this figure with his bare arms exposed, so like we've seen in the movie. However, you can buy the bare arms for this Marvel Legends right now. I will add that link back down to the description. It's from HK Toy Box. It's trustworthy website. It's gonna come from China. It's like $10 to get the arms. I think that's gonna be a really good move. But let's look at the details here beyond the stupid mouth. So the yellow that's on this is actually more like, I don't know, mustard yellow, not a bright yellow that maybe is coming across on the camera. I think the details of the sculpt here are looking really good. The thing that really is just bothering me the most are these legs. Like, they're just too wide here. It makes them look stubby and short. But maybe if we get him to a really cool pose, it'll be fine. Now, as far as articulation, since this is the first time we've had a Marvel Legends Wolverine like this, he looks down okay. He doesn't look up as much as you might want, especially as much as he's like a crouchy kind of guy. So with this Wolverine, what they should have done is had his neck move, but also be removable and come with like a bare skin neck. Because if you're going to put this on there and then his collar goes all the way up, it's not accurate, and it can be a little irritating. But back to articulation. The shoulder pads are actually attached to these like little bricks, so there's no like posability there. But because they're a little soft, you can get the arms out. So thank goodness for that. Just be careful with it. Obviously, too much pushing or pressure, you could maybe disconnect that glue or something. But beyond that, we've got some pretty good range there on the shoulders. It looks like there are butterfly joints, but they're not moving in as much as you might want, especially for like a Wolverine. Again, this is like one of those characters that you really want to have some like dynamic poses with. And I just don't know that we're going to totally get that here. Posability, it's kind of on par with most Marvel Legends figures, so whatever your expectation is with Marvel Legends, there you go. You got double jointed elbows, which are fantastic, and they have great range, even with the gloves. Just standard hinge wrist, so you only have this direction, which is fine. The ab crunch is pretty good. Leans back, not bad at all. He has waist swivel there right below the belt, which is probably a good call. Thigh swivel, which of course, I mean, that's just pretty standard. And double jointed knees, standard ankles. So all the basic stuff there that you would expect. Nothing to write home about. This is definitely the way I would have it, because watching that movie, it's his normal face the whole time. Until the end. Spoiler, mostly there. It's mostly looking really good. So obviously there's a good chunk of the movie where he looks like this with the sleeves, but the coolest for me was the sleeveless look. So I can't wait for those parts to come from HK Toy Box. I think the biggest issue I'm going to have with this Wolverine is just the look of those legs. But if you get him into an awesome standard Wolverine pose, I don't think it's going to matter. You just got to have to find that good balance of where his crunch is, and since he can't look up quite far enough to get a really good squat. But this is a nice Wolverine. So all of any gripes that I have, I'm still happy to have this. This is a good looking Wolverine. It's the best movie version of Wolverine that we have so far. And to compare him to this Wolverine that we got just re-released here recently, with the updated likenesses. So you have that face and you have this face. It kind of makes you want to remove these arms and put them on there, but then you won't have the gloves, which now is another problem. Anyway, let's take these alternate heads, put them on this Wolverine just for the sake of it, because someone's going to say you didn't do it. So there's that. So if you want an angry face one, you're almost there. Obviously, there's some changes here. This is the hair from earlier series of X-Men, the Wolverine movie, but it looks good. I have to admit that. It does look nice. I would obviously want to go with more screen accurate. I think most people would. And just have this one. And it's also, this is him in his 50s, and it's so much more obvious when you compare them. Look at that. In his 30s, maybe approaching 40 at this time, and then in his 50s. Moving on, we got to compare him to this ZD Toys Wolverine, which just seems like a Wolverine thing where you don't have a lot of accessories in the box, but at least he's got some alternate hands. He's got these kind of gripping, clawing looking hands, relaxed hands, and fists with claws. Plus it comes with a stand for $25 to $30, which comes with fists and no claws. This one is the bright yellow, and this one's more mustard, so there is a big difference there. There's a difference also in the way the mask was handled. So you have this where it's just it's relying on shadows from the sculpt, and then this one was actually painted in, and I think that's actually one of the downsides to this one. So looking at the legs, like this looks so much nicer than this one. Again, I think it's just too wide in the thighs. It just makes it look really strange. This has a much more Hugh Jackman kind of appearance through the legs and stuff. But other than that, the sculpts, you can see they're both of these companies were pretty spot on with the coloring and the sculpts compared to the suit in the movie. There are some slight differences with the padding here on the knees, so I'm thinking the Marvel Legends is missing that paint. This seems right. Well, there you go. If you need a 1/10 scale, you can go with the ZD Toys. Can't beat the prices on these, 25 to 30 bucks. Versus SH Figure Arts is going to run, I think they're like 80 bucks or whatever. And then of course Mezco is going to be 100 plus. Comparing these two height-wise, I think they are pretty much the same. Yeah, so the height is technically correct. Hey Siri, how tall is Ryan Reynolds? 6 foot 2 inches. Hey Siri, how tall is Hugh Jackman? 6'3". There you go. So technically right on the money, I guess, right? So he's just a little bit taller than Deadpool, even though his legs make him look a little shorter. So is this the best set of Deadpool and Wolverine that we can get to be movie accurate? So far, yes. I really think that the SH Figure Arts are gonna be the way to go, but we'll find out. Again, I mean, you can't beat 25 bucks. So at the end of the day, even if I love the SH Figure Arts ones after reviewing those, and I think they're the best ones, we'll have to consider the fact that people will just buy these because they're 25 bucks. And it's very affordable. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But for the sake of anybody ordering those HK Toy Box arms, I think you're gonna be fine putting those on, because these were easy to take off. Well, there you have it, folks. If you enjoyed this review and you want to see those ZD toys get reviewed, then click the top link there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Today is a very exciting day because we finally get to talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine. That's their names. Stupid, man.